Good to see you again. Welcome back to our first day at the Fourth World Customs Organization Regional Training Center Indonesia International Conference, Building a Seamless Future Through Disruptive Technologies in Customs and Multi-Stakeholder Collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue our conference. At this international conference, RTC Indonesia has also organized a call for paper event since July 2024 to gather new ideas and insight about building a seamless future through disruptive technologies in customs and multi-stakeholder collaboration. The committee accepted numerous interesting papers on the topic, and we would like to convey our appreciation for your contribution to the paper submitted for presentation. And for this session, the presentation of selected submitted papers will be moderated by Bapak Hari Setyanugroho. It is my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed moderator for today's session. Bapak Hari Setyanugroho holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree in Informatics Engineering, which he earned in 2009 from the prestigious Institute Technology of Telkom. He further pursued his academic journey and obtained a Master of Science degree in 2018 from the renowned University of Southampton. With a solid education, background and extensive experience in the field, Bapak Hari Setyanugroho brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our discussion today. We are confident that his guidance will lead us to a fruitful and engaging session. Without any further ado, please welcome Bapak Hari Setyanugroho.
Okay, thank you for the MC. I would like to start our paper discussion session or paper presentation session, and I would like to remind to all participants that we have 20 minutes time for presentation and then followed by 10 minutes discussion session.
Okay, test, test. Okay, thank you for the MC. I would like to start our presentation session. I would like to remind to all participants that we have 20 minutes time for the presentation and then followed by 10 minutes for discussion session. The first paper would be presented by Mr. Adrian Tarasembering, Mr. Muhammad Hadian Rido from Directorate General of Custom and Excise Indonesian Custom, and then Muhammad Adnan Nur Cahyo and Sandika Ilham Muhammad from State of Polytechnic of State Finance or STAN Indonesia. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to the team on the presentation one, which has a title, Leveraging Indonesia Logistic Ecosystem with Frontier Technology. So to, sorry, yes, for Mr. Ardianta and team, the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests, fellow researchers, and all participants. There is a lack of seamless communication and data sharing between supply chain stakeholders, which cause delays and operational issues. For the third is the lack of full integration. The absence of a single comprehensive platform results in logistics operations. The fourth is about high logistic costs. Indonesia's logistic costs remain significantly higher than those of its Asian neighbors. So this is one of our concern about this. These challenges highlight the importance of leveraging frontier technology. Next slide, please. Frontier technologies such as big data, the IoT, blockchain, green technology are playing an increasingly important role in transforming logistics system worldwide. These technologies offer potential solutions to some of the persistent challenges within Indonesia's logistic ecosystem. We can see for the first one is about National Logistic Ecosystem or NLE. The National Logistic Ecosystem was launched as a part of Indonesia's effort to integrate the flow of goods and documents into a single platform. NLE aims to simplify logistics processes by connecting all stakeholders, government agencies, private companies, and logistics service providers under one system. Then for the second one is seamlessly integrated logistics system. This one refers to a logistic ecosystem where every aspect of the supply chain is connected, eliminating silos between operations, and this is gonna be better for us. Then for the third one is about WCO framework for data security. Data security is a critical component of modern logistics system, particularly in cross-border trade. The World Customs Organization Safe Framework provides guidelines to ensure secure and efficient international trade. In the context of NLE, the WCO's emphasis on data security is particularly relevant. And then for the next slide, please. Okay, then this is the methodology. Then this is the methodology of our research. Our research adopts a qualitative approach using a case study method. The aim is to explore how frontier technologies can help address the challenges of Indonesia's logistics system. Our data analysis focus on identifying common themes and patterns that emerge from the interviews, literature, and case studies. We collected data from the following source. The first one is document reviews, literature review, interview, and case studies.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now I will explain our finding in studying NL systems. As a collaborative system, there are four pillars in national logistic ecosystems. The first pillar is simplification of government business process.
This is an effort to simplify business process in the logistics system by connecting government to government platform. This pillar encourages simplification of document submission by making a single system for document submission through NLA. The NLA team has launched single submission modules to simplify various business process involving government agencies, such as SSM licensing, SSM carrier, SSM quarantine custom, and SSM export. The second pillar is collaboration of logistic platform, which simplify business process in the logistics system by connecting business to business platform. This pillar goal is to connect service provider in the logistics system and make simplification of logistic order. And the NL team has launched some modules that involving logistic parties in the logistics, such as delivery order, online, container delivery letter online, tracking, warehousing, vessel, and container depot. And the third pillar is issue of payment, which simplifies the payment process in the logistics system by connecting business with bank agencies. This innovation will make a system that allow the payment of logistics service, payment of taxation, and financing facility in NLA. And the last pillar is spatial planning. This is to rearrange port spatial planning to comply with NLS scheme and to make the port more sophisticated with modern technology. And next slide, please. This slides, we describe the NLF features that have been implemented in the logistics system in Indonesia. Several NLF features have been implemented. We can see in the blue and the green numbers show the current feature have been implemented, and the orange number shows several features to be planned and to be developed. Next slide, please. Based on the NLA annual report, these tables show the survey result of the implementation of NLA in 2022 and 2023. Based on the survey, the respondents agree that NLA had a positive impact on the time efficiency and logistic costs. In 2023, SIM licensing had a significant impact on time and cost efficiency. And I think single submission and licensing and quarantine custom give a significant impact for logistic efficiency because the module can cut and simplify many business process in the logistic. Next slide, please. Okay, now our research problem is in our paper is how does frontier technology play a role in supporting the progress of the logistics system in Indonesia? We found that utilizing frontier technology in supply chain management has potential and its benefits. But in the other hand, this technology still have its challenge to be implemented. And in the next presentation, its technology and its benefit in the logistics system will be discussed.
Okay, frontier technologies include any novel or developing technology with the potential to change how humans communicate and solve global problems. In this case, especially logistics ecosystem in Indonesia. Next. Okay, the first of frontier technology is big data. Big data in order to make a harmonized data collaborations. There are 5 pieces of characteristic of big data. The first one is a volume, huge amount of data generated every time. And the second one is velocity, the high speed of data accumulations. The third one is veracity, the data reliability in terms of accuracy. And the fourth one is variety, the different formats of data from various sources. And the last one is a value, the usefulness of data. The big data itself is a collection of data in large volumes with high complexity and velocity. There are several factors that stimulate big data. The first one, it is increase in transaction in volume. The second one is investment in data processing technology. And the last one is the growth of the company. Business are interested in big data because they can reveal more patterns and interesting anomalies. And also, it's better than the smaller datasets with the potential to provide new insights into such as customer behavior, weather patterns, financial market activity, or other phenomena. In a logistic ecosystem, an adequate big data management is needed to harmonize all data from each stage in supply chain management. In order to harmonize of each data element in the NLA system can help organizations make policies and compare to the performance of each entity connected to the system. In this case, the data from all institutions that include in national logistics ecosystems. Next. The second one of the second of frontier technology is data analytics. The level of data analytics maturity within the NLE can be further developed or improved. Data analytics is the skills of analyze raw data and identify trends to determine business strategies and solve problems. We have three benchmarking companies. The first one is the Unilever and Coach, a multinational fast-moving consumer goods company and the second largest privately held company in the United States. Unilever and Coach use AI tools to collect comprehensive data on existing and potential suppliers. The second one is Amazon, the largest online retailer in the world. Amazon uses an anticipatory shipping model that uses big data and predictive analytics to predict customer orders before they are placed. As generative artificial intelligence growing rapidly, Marks and Walmart use a chatbot to facilitate automated negotiations with suppliers. In NLA, data analytics can be implemented in sophisticated and real-time, such as the first one to publish a public dashboard, the second to make suppliers profiling, to make the targeted advertising, to analyze the container and vessel availability, and the last one to generate a chatbot too. Next. The third one is the Internet of Things. The IoT implementations may be used to control logistics movements and mitigate logistic risks. What is IoT? IoT is a network of physical objects embedded in electronic devices, software, sensors, and network connectivity that allows objects to collect and exchange data using the internet. We also have three benchmarking companies. The first one is Coca-Cola, well-known soft drinks company, fond of vending machines that utilize IoT to view stocks, sell trends, and machines functionality. The second one is New Jersey Transport Authority, or NGTA, the government institution from United States for managing traffic. They use IoT in its supply chain for traffic management and motorist protections. And the last one is DHL, the world's leading logistic company. They use IoT in intelligent heating, ventilations, and air conditioning system, and makes real-time changes according to the weather to ensure the safety of goods delivered. In NLA itself, there are some IoT concepts that can be implemented, namely electronic customs, shipping line seal, and maybe smart containers and live containers, trucks, and vessels tracking tools. Next.
So in this slide, I will explain the implementations of blockchain in NLE. So in short, a blockchain is a system that records information collectively in a ledger, and the information is distributed. So every parties that involved will able to validate this information. And also, if you can see in this picture, when a transaction is validated and completed, a new block will exist along with the hash value. And then when a transaction is happen again, a new block will added again, and it's making every block are connected to each other. And in NLE, blockchain has three useful aspects. The first one is information transparency, because as I said before, every parties that involved can validate the information, so there will be a single point of truth. The second one is information security, because the access is only given to the authorized parties, and beside the authorized parties is forbidden. And it will minimize the risk of hacking and ensure data security throughout the supply chain. The third one is information traceability, because blockchain can effectively contribute to recording the logistic process, tracing official documents, and tracking digital assets. Next slide, please. And last but not least, green technology is also a component of frontier technology. Green technology is needed and important as a way to make a greener and healthier environment regarding various environmental problems such as chimney, pollutions, and also another various problems in environment. So in green technology can help to reduce the paperless system by reduce the use of paper by using a paperless system. And also green technology is important in the completion of the fourth pillar of NLA, because the existence of green open space must be sought and meant to the maximum level. Next slide, please. So from this paper, we can conclude that frontier technology can enhance Indonesia's logistic performance index throughout the NLA system, and each frontier technology can give benefits such as data analytic project can improve efficiency, IoT can be used to track physical movement, blockchain can improve security, speed, transparency, and also green technology can reduce pollution and makes a healthier environment. But also we have some limitations such as regulatory harmonizations and also technical infrastructure gap that need to be solved first before we can implement the frontier technology. And also in this paper, we don't focus on the non-IT aspect of the frontier technology. So in the recommendation, we hope the future researchers can more examine the non-IT aspect such as regulation, business process, and also port infrastructure. And also public-private collaboration is also needed to harmonize the regulation and develop the technological infrastructure. Next. I think this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for your attention. I give back to the moderator.
Okay. Yes. Hello. Okay. Thank you for your presentation. I would like to open the discussion session. So, if participants want to ask a question, please raise your hand. Okay, we have a questioner from the offline participant. Please ask the questions.
Okay, thank you. My name is Andrew from EBTV. My question for author is, in your conclusion, blockchain can improve speed and security of logistics. Can you explore and elaborate further about this issue? Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions before we move to the answering the question? From online or offline participants? Okay, next I will give the floor to the team of paper 1 to answer the questions.
Okay, thank you for the question. I will explain that a blockchain feature is powerful in security because the blockchain system will encrypt the data by making hash value, and the hash value is difficult to be hacked. And we think that the most important feature in blockchain is the security, and the another feature in the blockchain is the transparency and traceability. We say that the blockchain can increase the speed of the logistic process because in the blockchain system, we agree that the information will be distributed to the involving party. So the every party can get the information in secure, and the agency person can use the information too. For example, if we implement blockchain in the NLS system, for example, we give example, we distribute the data of vessel information or container depot information. So we can guarantee that the data is secure, and we can distribute to the party that need the data. If the exporter, maybe the exporter need to take a schedule of vehicle or vessel. So by the information give to the exporter, they get the information and they will maybe increase the speed of the export process.
May I add up to the answer? So the blockchains cannot stand itself. Maybe we can, because we talk about frontier, so maybe the velocity of the import or export transactions can be implemented in big data, because like I said before, we need a harmonized data collaboration, because we must have one single data catalog. So in every institution in this country, in Indonesia, we have the same data. For example, we have the same reference of ports data, we have same reference of goods data, or maybe we have same reference of any airports, something like that. So if the data is integrated, we can seamlessly connect it and seamlessly integrate it into to fasten the export and import process.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions from all of participants who joined the room, the second room? Okay, there is a offline participant that want to ask question, please. Mr. Cesar.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful presentation and wonderful research from for all of you. So I want to ask, considering that the national logistic ecosystem or NLE primarily focus on large-scale logistics players, which already has mature IT, what is your opinion about small enterprise and informal logistics provider? Is there any chance for integrating them? Are there any specific strategies in place to ensure they are not marginalized? And how do you foresee their role in contributing to the ecosystem's overall success? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Please, team of paper one, answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cesar, for the good questions. So in our research, mainly focus on the IT aspects. So we hope in the future, government can support us in the policies and regulations. And now, as we know, there are no regulations that government generated to the blockchains, I think to the cloud computing, I think there is no regulations also. So maybe in the future, be big money. So our recommendations to the government, we must make a large budget for this IT infrastructure if Indonesia want to implement the blockchains into all of the entities, not only the bigger company, but also in the small, medium enterprises company. Okay, maybe.
Okay, I think I agree with Mr. Cesar that not all company have IT maturity. They have a different IT maturity, the big company or small company. But if we have agreed that, for example, we agree that there are data exchange policy in LS system. So the government must facilitate the policy, not only for the big company, but for the small company too. For example, if big company, we can use data exchange tools like API or data virtualization, and we are need to facilitate the small company too, even they are still can do the data exchange by transfer via email by Excel or conventional data. We still need to facilitate it too. I think that's what the government need to facilitate, not only big company but the small company too.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Okay. There's a question from offline participant. Please. I think one more question.
Thank you, Pak Hari, for the opportunity, and thank you for the others and for the great presentations. So I would like to ask. I think my questions will add a little bit about the research. So my questions is about blockchain. So in your presentation, you mentioned about information security in the blockchain slide. Blockchain system limit access only to authorized parties with cryptographic authorization. So if I can ask, what kind of blockchains that you're gonna build? I mean, who's gonna build the blockchains? So that questions. So if I want to compare with the Bitcoin, that the blockchain is built by the entire people of the world, so it will be very difficult to be hacked because every computer, let's say everyone else in the world has the same data. But in this case, if we are going to say that the blockchain will be built by some company or an organization, so yeah, I think I'm not really sure that it is very secure. So what is your plan maybe for the future research? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. So I think if I learned before, there are a blockchain system that created for the government only. So I think it is a different blockchain, like a Bitcoin. I think there's a blockchain system that the specifically create for government, and for the institutions I may recommend, like we have cyber national security, or we call it BSSN. I think BSSN can handle the security for the blockchain system, and I think government blockchain will include the third parties also, and I think the third parties that will implement the blockchains must be assessed first before we can collaborate. We can we can make contracts to the third parties that generate the blockchain system specifically for government. That's for the blockchain management. Maybe again.
Maybe the next question is about the server. We can learn about blockchain in internet, for example, Bitcoin study case. But there, the server is not Indonesia. So I suggest that we need to provoke maybe a Ministry of Communication to make a better governance about this blockchain, because I heard that the Minister of Communication is want to make the blockchain to secure our national data. And we think that maybe about this blockchain, we need to research again about what is the law under the blockchain. And if we have the law, and what about the server? I agree that the reader statement that our nation is still a consumer of the technology, because this frontier technology is still developed by a big country like US and China. We still a consumer of this technology, and if blockchain will be implemented in Indonesia, I think in short term we still need a third party in conducting this blockchain project. Thank you.
Also, maybe I want to add a little bit. As we have mentioned in the paper, there is a WCO safe framework. So maybe it can be a consideration to implement it in the local needs. So in order to make our government be better. Okay.
I want to add a little bit. So in our paper, we mentioned that in the blockchain system, every party has a node that is connected to the server and has a right to secure their own node. So I think if the parties like the government and the third parties and also the corporate has their own node that not shared to every parties, to other parties, I think it can secure and maintain the information security in blockchain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer. So I would like to close the session for paper presentation 1. And let's move on to the next paper presentation. So the author of the paper is Muhammad Nafik Setionugroho, Nurul Hayatun Nufus, and Alfi Nabila from Directorate General Custom and Excise, Indonesian Customs. So the title of the preceding paper is Innovations in Indonesian Customs, a study on improving cross-border e-commerce on compliance, risk management, and enforcement. Without further ado, I would like to invite the speaker of the second team. The floor is yours.
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants. We highly appreciate for this opportunity in the fourth WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference. We would like to present our paper with title Innovation in Indonesian Customs, a study on improving cross-border e-commerce on compliance, risk management, and enforcement. There are 3 authors in this paper, me as a Nurul, and my colleague is Nafik and Alfi Nabila, who present her paper to in another room. Okay, we will introduce to introduction first. This paper contains on introduction, literature review, methodology, finding and discussion, conclusion, and recommendation. Next slide, please. Recently, the frequency of individual shopping in online stores declined, while online shopping experienced a significant increase. The e-commerce sector, encompassing more than just retail sales, is experiencing substantial growth. The facilitation of international shipping and the ease of placing online orders have made purchasing products from overseas increasingly common amongst consumers. Global e-commerce is projected to grow from 5.8 trillion US dollar in 2023 to 6.3 US dollar trillion in 2024, with expectation to exceed 7.9 trillion US dollar by 2027. In the figure 1 shows that e-commerce transaction in Indonesia reached 453.75 trillion rupiah in 2023, representing a 4-fold increase compared to 2019, with this potential for continued growth. Moreover, in the figure 2 shows that Indonesia is expected to lead global e-commerce growth in 2024 at 30.5%, nearly 3 times the global average of 10.4%. It is a huge market for CBEC transactions. Next slide, please. Indonesian Customs in 2023 reported that the volume of consignment notes has increased 3-fold compared to 2018, with 90% of these consignments attributable to e-commerce transactions, but gradually decreasing year by year. And the fourth figure, we can see the picture is the Ministry of Finance regulation established in 2023. The number is 96, requires e-commerce operators or PPMSE to partner with Indonesian customs and share data to improve import processes. Businesses face challenges adapting to new customs systems, integrating e-catalogs, and managing higher import costs. The policy limiting imports under 100 US dollar aim to protecting local MSMEs caused a 79.94% drop in consignment notes at Sukarta Customs. Many e-commerce shipments have shifted to regular consignments, avoiding customs partnerships, which requires enhanced customs monitoring. Purpose: to evaluate and propose strategies for enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of customs operations in Indonesia, specifically within the context of cross-border e-commerce or CBEC. The goal is to create a more streamlined and transparent customs framework that improves compliance, minimizes fraud, and aligns with global standards. Next slide, please. In the section literature review, we can show the different organization and regulation define e-commerce in various ways, reflecting its broad scope and complexity. The first is World Trade Organization, or WTO, in 2017 describes e-commerce as a process that includes the electronic production, distribution, marketing, sale, and delivery of goods and services. And the second is Ministry of Trade Regulation number 31, year 2023, specifies that trading through electronic system, abbreviated as e-commerce, involves transaction conducted via electronic devices and procedures. This regulation is connected as a basic regulation of electronic trading system. On the other hand, Ministry of Finance Regulation number 196, year 2023 states characterizes an electronic trading system operator, or PPMSE, as a business operator that provides electronic communication facilities used for trading, dividing PPMSE into two categories. The first is online retail, which is a merchant that conducts trade through an electronic system using a commercial website or application that is created, managed, and or owned. And the second, marketplace, which is a facility provider in which part of all of the transaction process is in an electronic system in the form of commercial website or application as a place for merchants to able to post over or goods and or services. Next slide, please. This is the e-commerce system in Indonesia. E-commerce system in Indonesia adopt self-assessment declaration, imposing sanction administration for under-invoicing declaration, the minimum threshold $3 for FOB, maximum value declared $1,500 for FOB per transaction, impose single tariff of duty tax 7% and plus VAT 11%, except goods classified under harmonized system codes 3303, 3307, 4002, 4901 until 4904, 61 until 64, 73, 8711, 8712, and 9101 until 9102, imposed in most favored nation tariff, and validity of identity. Next slide, please. And for the e-commerce system in Japan, adopt the postal codes with the official assessment, small package cargo with self-assessment, and imposing additional duty 5% till 50% for under invoicing declaration, the minimum threshold 10,000 yen for its shipment, and maximum value declared 200,000 yen for each shipment, and designation of custom procedure agents. Next slide, please. And e-commerce system in Korea, they adopt Express Cargo Clearance Center, UniPass, as an integrated system that connecting to financial provider and using Personal Customs Clearance Code or PCCC as a protector personal data. The minimum threshold, 150 US dollar for FOB in list clearance, and for FOB more than 150 US dollar and less than 2,000 US dollar, they have to declare in simplified declaration. And for FOB more than 2,000 US dollar, they have to declare in general declaration. For postal codes, the minimum, if FOB more than FOB more than 150 US dollar and less than equal to 1,000 US dollar, they have to declare in list clearance. Next slide, please. And e-commerce system in China, they adopt the positive list for the goods in 1,321 tariff lines. The type of channels of import by CBEC in China divided into, there are bonded model and direct purchase model. The minimum threshold is 5,000 yuan per transaction, and there is annual limitation is 26,000 yuan, surpass the annual limit. If the importer surpasses the annual limit, so they have to imply in general trade, and the whole price impose the duty tax. Tariff rate is 0%, imposing comprehensive rate at 70% VAT. And the China adopt in 37 municipal government has implemented CBEC policies to supporting the CBEC in China. Next slide, please. This paper adopt the methodology are qualitative methodology, identify actionable strategies to address issues within Indonesia's CBEC framework by analyzing successful practices from Japan, South Korea, and China. There are countries selected for their relevant and effective customs practices. And the source of data by the reports, published journals, academic papers, internet articles, relevant regulation, and descriptive data from customs authorities. And the next slide will be presented by my colleague, Mr. Navik.
Thank you for. Next, we'll present the finding of our paper. Let me start with a brief explanation of custom clearance and enforcement of CBEC goods in Indonesia. The first delivery custom company, or PGT, must submit the required document, including the custom notification. Documents are filtered by risk engine to assess the risk. If passes, custom duties and taxes, or SPP/PMCP, are determined automatically. Flag shipment undergo physical inspection or additional document review. If violations are suspect, a proof of enforcement letter is issued. And then non-compliant goods may be re-exported or stored as non-controlled goods. Then consignment are classified based on Indonesian migrant worker or PMI status, trade purpose, and custom value. And final, custom determination is issued after all procedures are complete. Next. In this paper, our finding is number one, undervaluation in custom valuation and low tariff rate on imported goods. From the data we obtained, the recent data indicate significant change following implementation of the Minister of Finance Regulation number 96/2023 in October. The total number of CN or document for CBEC submit per period has decreased significantly. But the nearly 1 year implementation of Minister of Finance Regulation number 96/2023, the low level of compliance with custom valuation and declared tariff rates is still not optimal. Number two is a low level of electronic data completeness. The data submitted by courier service companies is transferred from shipper or sender abroad and contain inaccurate detail and incomplete supporting document. This will hinder the document examination process. Inaccurate data in the CN or CBEC was primarily found on for personal consignees. Yet the custom system did not reject the custom declaration. There must be focus on improving system and enhancing supervision to strengthen enforcement within Indonesian custom. Number three, shifting important transaction from conventional goods to CBEC goods. Indonesian custom in report in 2024 that approximately 90% of import declaration shift from conventional goods to CBEC goods. The current regulation do not specify which type of good can be imported under the CBEC scheme, creating a loophole that industries exploit to import goods intended for industrial use rather than for end consumer. Moreover, there is no annual price limit specified for individual importing goods under the CBEC's scheme. Number four, splitting transaction. The supervision of consignment goods and commerce import is generally less stringent compared that of in conventional import. Regulation concerning consignment goods provide private individuals with greater ease and flexibility regarding import provision. This regulatory flexibility is often exploited by those seeking to circumvent the imposition of high rate or the restriction placed on the importation of prohibited and restricted goods. Although splitting is not the most prevalent of violation, it remains a significant tactic employed in the importation of consignment, particularly to circumvent import regulation and prohibit and restrict goods. The ease with which this tactic can be implemented is largely due to the lack of a requirement to provide a valid identity, such as identification number or NIK in the consignee name. Next, please. Now we'll present the follow-up action to address the challenge faced in CBEC for custom formalities. Based in our discussion on this matter and literature that has been presented, we can conclude as follows. Number one, establishing a monitoring and evaluation system with data analytics. With integrating big data analytics will make Indonesian custom more responsive by tracking pattern and detecting irregularities in CBEC. Like in Japan, real-time data can help identify fraud and undervaluation, allowing quicker action and suspicious activity. Number two, using identity number or NIK or NPVP as a single identifier enhanced by big data. Big data can enhance custom by using identification number for profiling importers. Similar to Korean system, machine learning refine risk assessment, improving custom check, integrating the population and civil registration or Dukcapil data boost can verification accuracy and speed, following China centralized approach. Number three, imposing MFN on e-commerce or consignment good. Big data can help custom apply MFN rate effectively by detecting pattern of misuse in exemption. As in China, Indonesia can adopt similar method to identity and regulate potential tariff evasion in CBEC transaction. Number four, providing leeway and facilities for e-commerce and personal shipment. Big data can monitor e-commerce platform and traders by tracking shipment patterns, similar to system in Japan and Korea. This helps flag potential abuse or exemption, enabling Indonesia to balance trade facilitation with stricter enforcement through data-driven oversight. And number five, utilizing data analytics by risk engine. Integrating big data into Indonesia's custom risk engine can enhance predictive capabilities by analyzing transaction histories and trade trends. Similar to system in China and Korea, this would enable custom to identify high-risk transactions and anticipate future challenge, with machine learning continuously refining risk profiles. Next, and several challenges have been identified, including undervaluation in custom valuation, low tariff rate, incomplete electronic data, and issues related to shifting and splitting transactions. And the last is, by incorporating big data analytics, Indonesia can transform its custom operation into a more agile, data-driven system capable of addressing the complex challenge of CBEC, following the example set by Japan, Korea, and China. This approach will improve compliance, reduce fraud, enhance revenue collection, and ensure fair trade practice within the e-commerce landscape. While the recommendation, next please. Next. Well, the recommendation we propose are to effectively leverage big data analytic Indonesia e-commerce custom operation, the government should establish a monitoring and evaluation system powered by real-time data analysis. And number two, the integration of identity number into custom procedure alongside big data analytics require collaboration with the population and civil registration and to enhancement of IT infrastructure for real-time data exchange. Training custom officer in data analysis and predictive risk and management tools will ensure effective use of the technology, promoting proactive monitoring and compliance, while improving risk assessment and aligning with international standards. So that's all for VR presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I send back to moderator.
Okay, thank you for this second paper presentation. I would like to start the discussion session. So I would like to remind to all of the online participants, you can click the button react at the bottom of the Zoom application and then click raise hand to ask questions. Is there any participants that want to ask questions from online or offline? Okay, we have one question, please.
Follow-up action to address the challenges faced in CBEC for custom formalities. Utilizing data analytic by risk engine, as you mentioned that China and Korea have implemented data analysis system. I want to ask, how can we effectively analyze and visualize a million of data that coming daily? And are there specialized tools or technique is needed to analyze this million of data? Thank you.
Okay, team 2, could you please answer the question?
Thank you, Mr. Tito, for the questions. And the first question is how effectively to conduct of the million of data. So in this paper, we conduct to the customs how to manage the million data by the data analytic. So so we have to know the pattern, the importer, the consignment note of importer, the pattern, and the goods declared in the in the consignment notes. So we conduct the million data by the data analytic. In this, we find the reality, the data still not providing to the data analytic.
Can I respond? Yeah. Have any custom administration, China and Korea, they get the million of data like Indonesia or less of it?
Okay, as example, in Korea, there is a PCCC before I explained before. PCCC is a tools for KCS Custom Korea for personal importer, the system to organize person when they import the consignment notes, the CBEC transaction. And for the KCS and PCC, they detect from phone number. In Korea, phone number is important data. Only one person only have one number, and they can use virtual account to camouflage the name of the person. Is it clear?
Okay, yeah. Maybe is there any specialized tools or technique is needed to if there are a lot of data, a million data coming every day, and as you mentioned that there Korea using the number phone identity as SH identity. Yeah, I just curious, is the system can do the analysis with the million of data is coming every day? Is it?
I think this is our surface research, actually. So this is the trigger to Indonesian custom to deepen research how to manage the data by the data analytics or so on like that. And this is only the surface, our paper, not to include deepen, it's not. This is for the trigger, but the beginning of the research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the discussion. We will move to the next proceeding paper, which is authored by Mr. Igor Alesin and Mrs. Elena Antonova. The title of the preceding paper is Automated Image Recognition Systems Using Inspection and Screening Complexes in Customs Control Processes. Okay, the floor is yours, Mr. Igor and Elena.
Yelena, yeah. Good day.
Good afternoon, dear listeners. We would like to present you our work called Automated Image Recognition System using Inspection and Screening Complexes in Customs Control Procedures in the category Disruptive Technology. On this slide, you can see the ratio of container turnover statistics in Russia to the total number of mobile inspection complexes and actually functioning mobile complexes. The bar graph shows the container turnover.
Excuse me, your
Yes?
slide is not moving. So could you please reshare again the slide?
Just 1 second.
One moment.
Так.
Okay.
It's okay?
I think it's a wrong screen that you shared.
Do you see now the slide?
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
The second slide, yes.
Sorry.
On this slide, you can see the ratio. Just 1 minute. The ratio of container turnover statistics in Russia to the total number of mobile inspection complexes and actually functioning mobile complexes. The bar graph shows the container turnover by years. Two curves show the number of officially existing mobile customs inspection complex and the number of actually operation MCIC at the end of that year. We can see the positive dynamics of arriving containers, and the growth increases every year, while the number of operation MCIC designed to provide inspection of the containers regresses. Thanks to it, we can conclude about the necessity of optimization, so that the current number of mobile customs inspection complex may cope with the growth of container turnover. The agency of my work is the application of methods of recognition of object in the image can significantly reduce the time required to analyze X-ray images of the inspection customs complexes. On this slide, you can see approaches to object identification. Firstly, the decision regarding the content on the images are made solely by the customs inspection complex operator. Inspector and further decision making takes 15 minutes per container. In case of suspicions of possible violations, the operator can extend the inspection period by another 15 minutes. Secondly, there is the availability of auxiliary systems on certain CIC models to assist the operator in recognizing content. For example, the model on the slide, Smith detection, uses specialized sensors to detect liquid explosives. The third approach is completely different from the previous ones. The Federal Customs Service of Russia in 2022 announced the start of work on an experimental model of automatic image identification based on the artificial intelligence usage. According to the latest information, the model has the following advantages. The first is the analyzing time of an image is less than 1 minute. The second is the current confidence level is 82%. And the last is number of uploaded samples for mockup 13,000 images. There are some problems with exciting image analysis systems. Therefore, the first is lack of sufficient number of highly qualified analysis operators. The second is limited time to make a decision. The third is the possibility of making a subjective decision. And the last is lack of automation of image analysis processes. On the slide, you can see the statistic of the Mobile Customs Inspection Complexes Department work for the last 3 full years. This analysis will help to understand how much of problems the need to optimize the current customs control system is. There are 4 main indicators. The first is number of containers arriving in Vladivostok. The second is the number of containers inspected by the machine. The third is the number of containers reserve the status of object under suspicion. And the last is efficiency. It can be concluded that only about 7 or 9% of containers are inspected by MCIC. If there would be more MCIC or they would work efficiently, the larger volume of containers could be controlled. This slide shows a pie chart of the revenues distribution due to detected violations through the use of mobile complexes. The average income is about $120,000. There are several ways to solve the problem of the mobile complexes lack. The first is buying new MCIC or introduction of modern image analysis technologies into existing MCIC. In a context where the volume of additional payments to the Russian federal budget of the department for the year is only about $200,000, it becomes obvious that the purchase of a new MCIC is financially unjustified. Perhaps the current MCIC has not exhausted its resource yet, and it can provide the required level of functionality and efficiency. Retrofitting existing equipment or optimize its usage may prove to be more reasonable and economically justified solutions. On this slide, we are going to discuss the model of an automated system for analyzing X-ray images. The object of discovery was the silhouette of a gun in hand luggage. To train the model, it's necessary to collect images on which the neural network will be trained. To begin with, 115 primary images were collected. Next, all the pictures were segmented. I manually showed where the gun was located on them. I divided them into two categories. The first is the training dataset. It's 126 images, and verification dataset. On the training set, the neural network was trained. On the verification set, was tested for its performance. 126 X-ray images was training a neural network a very little. Therefore, to expand the set, a data augmentation system was used, which is a system that by using various distortions or adding noise creates many new images on which the artificial intelligence system is trained. The AI made 112,000 pieces out of 126 pieces of the training set by means of supplement and trained on them. The AI ran through these images and looked for correlations, made conclusions what was the gun. On such a pass through all images is one epoch. It's optimal to use about 13 or 15 epochs for training. I will show how it looks like later. When training has been completed, the system summarizes the accuracy based on the image already in the validation set. That is images it has not seen before. And on this, it marks the outline of what looks like a gun. You can see the primary images on this picture. There is the picture with gun. And this picture shows the work of augmentation. When the system get 15,000 images new. Prediction 1.0 means that the system sees the gun in the image and marks the area where it sees it. In all of the images I collected, the system was able to find the gun and tag it. You can see that all pictures, the gun was found. On the slide, you can see that I took pictures of handbags from the internet in order to test the neural network on pictures that are completely different from those that were originally loaded into it. The purpose of my system was not just to find the gun, but at the same time to realize when it was not there. Also, that it would not mark any noise with the gun everywhere. No error is found where there is the gun. The system has not found it. Next, an experiment was made with different pictures, with a gun and without it. The results show the first error. In the first picture, where there is no gun, the model marks the area that is it. The most interesting result is in the first picture at the bottom. The model was able to identify the silhouette of the revolver, although trained on conventional guns. The highlighted area in the image is much bigger. On the slide, you can see the result of the model. There are 4 errors among 24 pictures. This graph shows the outcome of each error passed. And the total result, the model had an accuracy of 24%. Now we'd like to show you neural networks in practice. 1 second, please.
Да.
In this step, I show which images will be uploaded to the system. This moment of the video, I scroll through all the written code. The whole program fits into 182 lines of code if you remove the green comments. Now I'm running the program. I'm showing the full learning curve, so you will have to wait for certain epochs. In real time, it took about 3 minutes, but here I speed up the video 5 times to make it faster. It's almost over. The training has been completed. We see the results of work. As in the study, AI had no trouble locating the gun in the picture in which the trained. The system also did not find the gun, it's not there. And unlike the presentation on this slide, the results have changed. In the first photo, the detector found the weapon, but it's not there. And on the last one, the system did not detect it. Also, the revolver system was still able to find. Also, the area remained as larger. This concludes our report. Thank you. We are ready to listen to your questions.
Okay, thank you for your great presentation and demo. I would like to open the discussion session. Please raise your hand if you have any questions to all of the participants from online and offline. Okay, we have one question.
I don't understand the question.
No song. No sound.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Igor, for your presentation, and your slide have use case in gun image. And my question is your model of image recognition can be used to detect high valuable goods? For example, maybe like bag or jewelry. And if it does, can we classify it as an expensive bag or non-expensive bag by using your image recognition? Thank you.
The accuracy of my system is 84%. It's not big, but it's not small. Because in the start of my presentation, I said that the Federal Customs of Russian Federation started the work of the same project like me, like mine. And the accuracy was 82%. And it's only the beginning. In the future, it's must be bigger. Thank you. Say thank you.
Okay, Mr. Igor says that this paper is just a beginning. So you are asking for another cases. So I think that for your cases, it must be tested
System.
if you want to get the result. I think that's what Mr. Igor said. So I will open one more questions if there's any question. Because we will continue the presentation and there will be no coffee break. Before I close the discussion session, so I would like to confirm for the speaker for the fourth paper, Mr. Edwin. Are you here? Okay. Is there any other questions? If not, I will close the discussion session. Thank you very much, Mr. Igor and Elena, for your excellent presentation. So we will continue to the next paper, authored by Mr. Edwin Iskandar Dinazar from Directorate General of Custom and Excise, Indonesian Customs, with the title of the preceding paper, Enhancing Customs Surveillance with Remotely Piloted Aircraft Systems Using Analytical Hierarchy Process as a Selection Tool. Without further ado, I would like to invite the speaker to give the presentation. Mr. Edwin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are very grateful to be here in this wonderful event. And although we are facing a hard time, I'm not talking about 2024, but this is after lunch hour. So our eyelids are heavy, our heads are leaning. So I'm trying to make this unboring. And I've tried to make the presentation as simple as possible. So may I present while standing, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Because if we are sitting, we tend to be a little bit sleepy. Okay, next slide, please. Earlier today, I met one of my friends. He wore a really nice suit. And immediately I thought to myself, how did he come up with that decision? How did he choose which suit to wear today? And aware or not, every day we are facing a decision-making process. Some are as simple as choosing the best suit to wear today. Some are a little bit confusing, which route we take to arrive to this place. And as a governmental organization, when we are talking about decision-making, we have to be accountable. We have to be responsible because our budget came from taxpayers' money, right? So when talking about budgeting, decision-making, especially in enforcement, custom enforcement, things tend to get a little bit tricky. Next slide, please. This is the image of Indonesia. As we could see, Indonesia is the largest archipelagic country in the world. More than 50,000 kilometers coastal line, more than 6 million kilometers of ocean areas. We are bordering with 10 countries. We have 3 main land border with Malaysia, Timor-Leste, and PNG. And it poses us a huge challenge in terms of enforcement. As customs, we have to be focused on the flow of goods and how we monitor them, how we could impose taxes on them. But with this geographical challenge, we have to think a little bit outside the box. We have to think not to put our people everywhere at every spot, because it's impossible to put our people along the ocean, along all the length of the border. So we have to accept new technologies, some kind of force multiplier. And one thing that we could say force multiplier is remotely piloted aircraft system, or we can call it drones. Next slide, please. When talking about drones, we tend to think about the quadcopter ones that we used as hobbyists. But drone is a broad term. It covers the huge ones like Predator drones used by the USA or Bayraktar from Turkish military. But this paper is, the scope of this paper is a little bit narrower. We are not talking about hobbyist drone. We are not talking about military drones, but we are talking about drones that could be used for surveillance, drones with decent endurance and complete with a long-term live camera. So in choosing the drones, we have to be a little bit more careful because, like I said earlier, our budget came from taxpayer money. So we have to spend it carefully, efficiently, effectively. I'm choosing here analytical hierarchy process. It's a method developed by Thomas Tati to help us in decision making, which involve three main aspects. The first one is the goal, what goal we want to achieve. And the second is the criteria. What are the criteria we have to take into consideration? And the third aspect is the alternative. What are the alternatives that we have to choose from? Next slide, please. What I did in my research is, first thing first is, I interviewed several experts in enforcement. I asked them a simple question. If we are about to implement drones in customs surveillance, what are things that you think we have to take into consideration? I repeat the process. I ask more and more person until I get bored and no more significant data get from more experts. We can call it snowball sampling. So I can add more and more expert until no significant data added to the equation. Next slide, please. Here are some of the major things that are said by the expert, things that we need to take into consideration. Cost of acquisition, maintenance costs, operational costs, flight endurance, the capability of the sensor, the legal aspect of the drones, wind tolerance, the risk of total loss, operational easiness, support system that we need to implement, operational secrecy, and the recruitment of the crew. Here are several aspects that the experts say you have to take into consideration. Now things are get a little bit interesting because there are a lot of consideration. So I make it into a simpler form. I'm grouping this most of these criteria into three main groups. The first one is cost concern. The second is operational concern. And the third is the risk concern. The supporting concern could be omitted from the equation because regardless of the drones we will choose, we still need to make preparation. We still need to prepare for the legal aspect, the support system, the crew recruitment, etc. So we could minimize the criteria. Next slide, please. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria left. And each criteria does not hold equal value. I mean, there are 6 criteria. If we put it simply, 100% divided by 6 means each criteria holds significance around 16.6%. But that's not the case. Some people might think that the cost of acquisition is more important. But some people might say that the sensor capability is more important. So I'm using what we call as pairwise comparison. I compare each criteria and ask them again. Is acquisition cost more important than maintenance cost? And if it is, how much important? I repeat the question with acquisition cost compared with flight duration, compared with sensor capability until every criteria is compared one by one. I'm not going to show you the equation because it's a little bit complex. In short, I've got help from some software to process the data. This is the result. Turns out that the wind tolerance hold the most significant value, up to 25% or 1/4 of the importance of all criteria. The second is flight duration, followed by maintenance cost, sensor capability, operational easiness, and surprisingly, acquisition cost is the least important factor, said the experts. Next, please. The next step is to give score to each criteria on each alternative. So how could we give score in regard to acquisition cost? Because from the alternatives, we have different value of acquisition cost. Some are valued less than 1 million rupiahs. Some others is as much as around 5 billion rupiahs. So I give them score. The best option get a full 1 point. And the other option with less value, less interesting value, will get a lower score. I repeat the process with each criteria like maintenance cost, flight duration, sensor capability, operational easiness, and wind tolerance to get the value of each alternative. Let me show you the alternatives. Next slide, please. Next, please. Now, these are the 5 alternatives that we got. Next, please. We could see into some details of the alternative. I was minimizing the data. I only show you the relevant aspect of the alternative, like the flight duration, the price, the things that are related to maintenance costs, like how much battery that it has, how much motor that it has, because motors, batteries are things that needs to get replaced frequently. These are the details of alternative A, and we could go next, alternative B. Alternative B has slightly higher, not slightly, around 3 times more pricey than the alternative A, but it also have a longer flight duration. Next, please, alternative C. We have slightly different value for alternative C. Okay, next. Alternative C, they have the best value in regard to wind resistance. Next, alternative D. They have a slightly different design, but roughly the same parameters. But we can see that there are significant price differences between each alternative. And the last, alternative E. Alternative E has the priciest acquisition cost, but it also has decent performance. Okay, next slide, please. I know it might be a little bit confusing. So this is the result of the scoring for each alternative in each criteria. So we could see the row show you alternative A, B, C, D, E. And each criteria like cost, acquisition cost, and maintenance cost, the capability, we can see flight duration, sensor capability, and operational easiness, and risk. Talking about risk is talking about wind resistance, how the drone is capable to perform during high wind like that. So we could see the score in acquisition cost. Alternative A hold the highest value, full 1 point. At maintenance cost, we could see there are different values. Alternative B has the highest value in maintenance cost. And flight duration, alternative B has the highest value. And sensor capability, alternative A wins by huge margin. And in operational easiness, alternative A. And in the wind resistance, we have alternative C with the highest point. Okay, we are not as easy as stacking all together these numbers, but we have to go into the next slide. Remember the percentage earlier? Yeah, we have to recount the presentation, the weighted scale of each criteria. So I multiply the score in each criteria with the weighted value of each criteria, so we could get the weighted percentage. Like for alternative A, 1 point is timed with 8.33%. Maintenance value, the value of maintenance cost is being multiplied with 16.67%, etc. I repeated the process until the last criteria and for all the alternatives. By counting the weighted percentage, we could see that the alternative A has 22.04% and is ranked number 1, and alternative D has 20.78% or rank 2, etc., etc. So the finding is alternative A has the highest weighted percentage, so we have to choose alternative A based on this method because it has highest value overall when weighted with the weight of each criteria. The next slide, please. Okay, the conclusion is owing to his good sensor capability, affordable acquisition cost, operational easiness, alternative A won by slight margin. But this paper is not with limitation. I recommend this paper to be widen the expert choice because more expert means that we got more data. And if we add more data, especially more criteria, the result will be more robust. And the third, we have to see the real world performance of each alternative because what we see here is the data from the brochure of the option from the provider. But in the real world, the performance might be different. So we have to maximize our chance to do trial or proof of concept for each alternative to see the real capability. And last but not least, I could not capture the essence of the capability of each provider because each provider has different profile and means that they might have different capability in regard to production, distribution of the product, or even post-sales support like that. Okay, this is my presentation for today. Thank you for the attention. I give it to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edwin. So I would like to open the discussion sessions. We will have only one questions. So I would like to invite for the offline and online participant to ask questions by raising hands. Okay, we have one question. Please, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. This topic is really interesting for us, a custom officer. Before that, my name is Noval Nomi from DGCE Indonesia. This topic is really interesting because in the field operation, we need the eye in the sky. So basically for this topic, I have two questions, Mister. The first one is, it is possible to use this equation for a Malay drone or medium altitude long endurance drone because there is some sort of difference in technological value because in this hybrid drone, we call it hybrid drone because quadcopter mixed with fixed wing. they are use the battery, but in Maledron they are use a fuel, right? And the second question is, did you consider the maximum service ceiling altitude for this drone, because it can affect the range of the drone itself, the surveillance range of the drone itself? Did you consider that for the equation? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Novan. From which directorate, sir, if I may know?
That's from Custom and Excise.
Yeah, from which directorate?
From Tangerang office.
Oh, Tangerang office. Okay, we could talk later, man. Okay, talking about medium altitude long endurance drones. First thing first, drone usage in DGCE is at its infancy. We know that several offices already use drones, but just the hobbyist drones like the DJI or something else that already available in the market. But we are not yet stepped up into that male drones because there are lots of constraints. Male drones, especially the ones that fueled with what we call it, Pertamax, like Pertamax or ethanol, there are lots of options. They tend to have higher maintenance costs, first of all, because we need to buy the fuel and we need to repair the engine more frequently compared to electronic ones. We could use this equation, this method or analytical hierarchy process for male drones, but this method is good if we have a same range of alternative. I mean, if we compare quadcopter hobbyist drones with male drones on the other side of the equation, it's not comparable. It's not on the same class. That's why I choose drones from the same class from the data that are submitted to us. There are several drones, several male drones that are submitted the data to us. What we call it, they submit the price brochure to us. But we decided to not use them as early as right now because we are still learning. We are still stepping up from quadcopter hobbyist drones that has less than 30 minutes flight time, less than 5 kilometers range, into something that has more than 10 kilometers range, more than 1 hour flight duration. So if you are talking, is it possible to use this method for male drones? Or especially, it could be used on anything as long as it takes into consideration some criteria and we are choosing alternative. Analytical hierarchy process is a useful tool. It could be used for lots of usage, not only drones. The second, talking about service sailing, yeah. I did not show the service sailing because their data is roughly more or less the same. They could fly up to several types that showed before could fly up to 5 kilometers on paper. But in real world, it's subject to discuss because depends on the local weather like that. But in practice, we already train our pilots. When the drones already fly above 100 meters or maybe 150 meters, first, the noise is already toned down, so we could not hear the sound of the engine clearly. It could be a little bit audio stealthy. And the second, it affects the range of drones, but it also affects the quality of the image captured. Because the higher we go, means that we need to zoom further to get same image compared to when we fly a little bit lower. So talking about service sailing, yeah, all of the option has good service sailing, more than 1 kilometer, but it is subject for real world performance because depends on the condition like that, the condition during the operation, and it also reduce the quality of image that we get like that, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the discussion session. So this is the last paper that will be presented by Mr. Muhammad Sukri bin Ramli from the Royal Malaysian Customs Department, Putrajaya, Malaysia, with the title of the preceding paper, Artificial Intelligence, AI, Assisted Tax Authorities, Leveraging Large Language Model, or LLM, Natural Language Processing, NLP, and Machine Learning, ML, for efficient tax audit reporting. Without further ado, I would like to invite the speaker, Mr. Muhammad Sukri bin Ramli. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Hari Setio. Before that, can I test the mic? Is everyone here?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I proceed with my presentations. My name is Muhammad Sukri bin Ramli, and I work for Royal Malaysian Customs Department. It is a real honor for me to be here today at the 4th WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference. This conference is a great opportunity for us to learn from each other and explore the new ideas shaping the future of customs and tax administrations. Today, I'm excited to share my research on artificial intelligence, AI-assisted tax authorities. Don't worry, it might sound fancy, but I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. Okay, from that, we will look on how these technologies, such as large language model, LLM, natural language processing, NLP, deep learning, DL, and machine learning, ML, can make tax audit reporting much more efficient. Imagine as AI to double your workforce productivity without requiring a mass hiring of employee. To tell you a bit about myself, I have been working in the compliance departments as Superintendent of Customs for more than 6 years now. I also graduated from Asia School of Business in collaborations with MIT Sloan. I spent my spring season this year, 2024, at United States. During my studies there at MIT, I focused on 3 areas, which is advanced negotiations, AI deep learning, which related to this research, and system dynamic. Before my MBA, I had my struggle. Looking at this picture, it was me. I was drowning in documents, Excel file, client annual reports, invoices, bank statement, you name it. My desk looked like a pile of my mountain. It made me wonder, am I the one only suffering of this, or it is normal? So I started digging for answer, and I found a paper that talked about the auditor dysfunctions. I discovered a paper study by Kencana and Widya Stuti on 2018 in the Indonesian Journal of Accounting and Governance, which explore on how workload and conflicting roles can cause dysfunction in auditors. It was at this point that I realized a change was necessary. It is when auditors like us get so overwhelmed, we feel like robot ourselves, but without the AI upgrades. In my research, I found out that the amount of informations that we deal is growing faster than ever, year by year. Do you guys watch the Disney Aladdin movie and his genie lamp? We all have a dream to have 3 wishes to be fulfilled. For me, I wish for solutions for my issue. So I started looking for solutions worldwide. Then I stumbled upon the UK HMRC, His Majesty Revenue and Customs, AI Connect system. This system was expensive. It's £100 million. But guess what? It returned 30 times that amount. This has become my case study in my paper. Despite its massive and big expenses by the governments, the system gives back to the tax collections and efficiency by churning big data into gold of insightful informations. If they didn't try and push for this, they would have the missing opportunity of £2.9 billion. This example shows how strong leadership on embracing new technology, even expensive, costly, can really improve the efficiency of revenue collections. So basically, this is the things that I learned at MIT on how to make decisions on the top level. This is a decision tree in which you have two decisions to implement or to disregard this whole project. For disregard, you might having a cost of opportunity loss. But if you try to implement, you may have a success or fail. But the rates of success and failure rates can be counted by management or humans. By having this calculated risk on the paper, it will enhance our understanding on the risk that we are taking. One thing that I learned at MIT was failure is a part of the process, what they call a flipping failure. It's like you're flipping your coin. You try a new thing and hope for the best. You won't always win, but with the right tools, with the right calculated risk, you can make a better decision every time. Just to share the board of my university, the mission of the MIT Sloan University is to develop a principled, innovative leader who can make a difference in the world. Following that spirit, my research aims to share the idea to advance management practice with AI. This diagram here is my visualizations of AI architecture in my reports. AI is not a standalone smart system. It consists of several components. It must have the component of machine learning, large language model, deep learning, natural language processing, and large language model. I'll share on the next slide. So this is the doodle that I prepared before these presentations. It is showing the architecture on how those AI system works together with the human assisted tax authorities. On this green box we see here, artificial intelligence is a system that mimic or even surpassing human intelligence. And the red box here outline on how artificial intelligence assists human in doing his job. Previously, in order for normal human to talk to artificial intelligence or machine learning or deep learning, they need to talk using the computer language. But nowadays, with recent technologies, the normal human, not a computer scientist or something, they can talk to the machine learning and deep learning to train them in natural language processing, which means we can talk in English to the machine learning, deep learning, and we train them together to help us to gauge the information from the data that we have. Because through those many rounds of training, the system will become more capable of deep insight, enabling it to detect and predict and suggest more advanced solutions that we never knew before from our data. This table here, it basically lists all the components of AI and what they can do for tax authorities. For machine learning, we suggest that machine learning is suitable for risk assessment. Natural language processing is used for document classifications. Deep learning can be used for invoice verifications. Large language model can answer questions or even do audit reporting. And artificial intelligence is used for risk assessment, intelligent planning, and streamlined automations. So with such a very useful product of very useful system, do you know about the Spider-Man movie? In the Spider-Man movie, the Uncle Ben once said to the Spider-Man, with a great power comes a great responsibility. As we advance in using AI for tax management, we must prioritize safety and ethics. I myself very advocates for responsible approach in AI implementations, where we ensure that AI systems are explainable, to reduce biases and to increase the accountability. Before deploying any system, it is essential that our data, predictions, and algorithms are transparent and understandable. Furthermore, we must safeguard the sovereignty of our data and models that we have created to maintain our stakeholder privacy and confidentiality. To show you what I mean with the LLM capability, large language model capabilities, here is the diagram inside my reports on how I showcase the LLM synthesize those data from taxpayer profiles that we might have on our database, and with the templates, which is in form of instructions for the LLM system to create a report, not the full report, but it's a part of the report, which is the taxpayer background that we usually includes in our tax audit reports. With the LLM synthesis and the click and copy from our database here, for example, we use Excel, we click the database, we copy, and then we paste to the LLM. It will generate and write the taxpayer background section for us. And it's done in seconds only. Next, we also have a pilot test run on 700 transactions of our database, and we compare it with human auditors. In comparison, the human auditors only can compare 10 transactions within 5 minutes. But with our machine learning that we have able to create, the comparison is staggering, as much as 700,000 transactions being tested within 5 minutes. With the same data also, we also tested the anomaly detections to compare the machine learning versus doing it by manual Excel, in which we dig into the data to show some meaningful insight out of it. From our testing, we found out that using the machine learning, we can do it 500 times faster, in which for the manual Excel that manual human did, it's required 42.17 hours of works that we need. From these sites, you can see how we test our machine learning system. System is just a click to play, and this has already connected to our database, and just at one click, the system will do the analysis to us and find the anomaly, and at the end of it, we receive a graph of data visualizations that show us the anomaly that the system of machine learning has detected. And with that, we can detect the transaction that has been flagged by the systems. This is my desk next year, I think, if the system or AI system is not yet being used by our organizations. So I might require a lot more of a monitor to do the Excel in order for me to be more productive in my work. But it's just a joke. With the machine learning capabilities, we can do it faster rather than the human possibility. Lastly, as a part of my research, I did an internal consulting on risk and profiling department to see if machine learning could be applied to my organizations. This is my white paper that I produced. And we have completed the pilot testing of machine learning within 3 days. It is a 10 times faster than traditional data mining that require whole months or 30 days. Within the 3 days, we make a significant progress. I've shared this project on my LinkedIn profile if you are interested to see this more. In conclusion, inside the white paper also, I have laid out my findings, which demonstrate on how we can integrate machine learning into the Google ecosystem that we already have to improve our productivity. For example, it starts with here. We put data into the system of Google Drive, and then with the machine learning collapse system by Google, it's synthesized, and we train it by our scientists, machine learning scientists. Then we're able to train a model and algorithm At the end, it give us back the actionable data-driven decisions that we can do for our organizations. This here is a machine learning architecture model that I propose also inside my white paper, in which the expert indicator being fit into database label matching. And with the database label matching, we created modular machine learning algorithm, one by one, in accordance to what the things that we are need during that moment. And the end, all these processes will be fit into our super machine learning that we'll be creating. And on final note, I would like also to mention on DHL Trend Radar. They are constantly scanning for the latest technology to stay ahead. And I think as an organization in tax administrations, we should do the same, in which we should find a way to improve our organizations over the time. Thank you for your attentions, and please don't hesitate to follow me on my LinkedIn so we can be connected. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Sukri bin Ramli, for your excellent presentation. Now I would like to open a discussion session. For participants that want to ask a question, please raise your hands. Once again, is there any questions? Okay, thank you. I think your presentation is very excellent, so all of the participants can get the idea of your presentation. So I would like to close this presentation session. So I would like to say thank you to all presenter and participant that actively involved in this paper presentation session. I hope that what we have learned today can inspire custom administration around the world to improve customer service. So I would like to give the floor to the MC. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you Bapak Hari Satya Nugroho for leading us in such a fruitful discussion. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to our moderator, Bapak Hari, for the valuable contribution today with a small of token appreciation and the certificate. The token of appreciation and certificate will be presented by the Director of RTC Indonesia, Bapak Untarto Wibowo. Okay, please give a round of applause for Bapak Hari Satya Nugroho. Okay, once again, please give a round of applause. Thank you once again to Bapak Hari and all speakers for making today's event truly insightful. And thank you to all participants. We have had a productive and inspiring time already. Hopefully everyone here found today's conference to be of value. This concludes today's conference. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe and stay healthy. See you on the next day with more interesting and great discussion, as we will have a plenary session of partnership, multi-stakeholder collaboration, and coordinated border management. We will also have the presentation of selected papers. I'm Friska, I'd like to sign off. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.